What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another This Week in Valorant. Another, average, not too loud, not too quiet week. We got some tournaments to go over. We got some stuff on Twitter to go over, future of the game, shit like that. First things first, getting right into it. We have our NA VCT is all set up. Two teams representing us at Copenhagen are Exet and Optic. I talked about it last week. I said Exet is tired of losing, and I think they're going to get the job done. There they are. Optic, obviously, cleaned it up as well, where they ended up losing to Exet after they qualified, and because of that, Optic will now have to play in groups. This grand final is just as important as making the event. The Guard and Optic from the last event, Iceland, are what I'm going to use as an example here. The Guard had to play in a demon group. They had to go up against Optic once they finished, and they had to go up against a Japanese team, and they got grouped in that event. So, groups aren't just, like a tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 tournament where it's just free agent teams playing up against the best teams in the world. So theoretically, you want to play you want to play less often than the other people, right? You don't want to play that much. So it's a really big advantage going into Masters for Exet. Optic's going to have to get through like a really hard group, and Exet's going to be kind of like sitting waiting in the playoffs almost. But again, this is where we are now. FaZe Clan and NRG, really respectable third and fourth place finish. I'm not going to say no one expected it, but I'm also going to say that no one really expected it. I thought that FaZe was kind of having like some inconsistencies at the start with their comps, but they really just stepped it up. Everybody on FaZe was fragging out, especially Big D followed by Icy. NRG, same thing. They just really had that chemistry and they really had it rolling. But unfortunately, they got hit with a COVID wave and they had to stop their boot camp, and they all flew back home and played in their obviously like separate houses and shit like that. So it was a huge factor. And again, I've said this before. I'll say it again. It's not just the game. It's 5 humans versus 5 humans. You got their IRL lives, how they're physically feeling, what they ate that day. All of that, is taken into account for when it comes to playing a match. The next tournament I want to showcase here is the Knights Championship. So all those Knights weeklies that you see people playing in and Knights monthlies, you were earning points to get into this tournament. So this tournament had some invited teams and it had some teams who qualified. When you read this top 4 and you didn't pay attention to this tournament, you might think that this is just another like regular weekly. But if you scroll down here to the upper bracket, I mean, look at some of these teams. Knights main team, version 1. Gen G. Cloud9. I mean, this is crazy that this was the top 4. Again, it wasn't a straight up, balanced out match. Cloud9 had a sub for this Sonics game. One of their academy players, Niliaz, Leaf's internet was out or something, so they ended up losing to Sonics. A free agent team together, we are terrific. Obviously, they're not just like a regular free agent team. They have a lot of X-signed players. But they beat BBG Academy, Team Basilisk, Sonics, and they took a map off the winners, Dark Zero. Oxygen Academy went the distance, ended up losing out to Dark Zero. Knights, falling out early as well with their new roster change. No more Frosty. They have Exalt playing on the team now. He's been activated again. So, again, from Cloud9, I'm not going to say that I didn't think that Cloud9 was going to win this tournament, okay? If you see this, if you see the stats that these players are putting up, it's extremely impressive. It's something that I talked about a few videos ago or last video where I need to see Cloud9 step it up for the LCQ, and I think that they are gearing towards that. I think they are going to be ready for that. It's really unfortunate their internet went out. But a couple big wins here. Dark Zero 2-1 over version 1. Oxygen Academy 2-0 over Knights. I mean, these are like serious wins. And, I was talking about it on stream the other day, but something that I do want to reference is in this meta, anyone can beat anyone. Doesn't matter how good you are, doesn't matter how bad you are, doesn't matter your map pool, players on your team, etc. Experience. Anybody can beat anybody. Anybody can beat anybody with this chamber meta. This chamber double or triple initiator meta. Anybody can beat anybody. You're not even shooting your gun half the time. When you're holding a bomb site, you get flashes thrown at you, darts suck stuns, flashes, more flashes, dogs, prowlers, eyes, haunts, dart. Like, there's literally like 7 things you need to do before you actually can take your gun out and start aiming at people. So it's definitely interesting, to say the least. But again, I think that anybody can beat anybody. Dark Zero had a good showing. They dropped a couple maps, but that's how it goes when you're testing comps and like getting back into the groove of things. They haven't played a tournament in a minute. But again, just wanted to update you on that as well. Um, Valyn was on the desk for the VCT kind of like finals, like that top 4 last week. I think that he did such a stellar job, and I think that every single aspiring, not even just analyst, but caster, desk person, they should all try to model his gameplay. Not everybody's going to have VCT experience, LAN experience. I understand that. But what I'm trying to get at is this. I'm sick and tired of casters and analysts just like doing the funny and hitting the gritty and like trying to like fit in. It feels like they're trying to articulate Valorant in the way that a high school like student would. They're trying to be like hip and like fit in. I want you to talk about the game. I want you to break down the game. I want you to explain what's happening, why it's happening, what they could do better, what they are failing at, what they're doing good at. You know what I mean by that? And I think that Valen really like again, just killed it. Obviously, again, he has a lot of experience, so I expect him to, but it's just a really nice thing to have somebody on the desk who, seriously knows what they're talking about. And I'm not trying to discredit everybody because not everybody is, uh, bad per se. I like Avril. I like Tanner Metro. I like Mimi, a evil cat. Um, I like, um, oh, what's his name? Doug. I like Doug. Bala. Like, there's a lot of good people, but again, like, you know, I think that they can step it up a lot. Is what I'm trying to get at, because you got to cement yourself as a caster. Because this is what I always say: there's going to be 100,000 people that are going to click on a tournament stream because they want to watch the tournament. You can either be the reason that they continue watching or turn it off. Because in all levels of seriousness, I have had to mute these streams because of how annoying and how just inane the casters in the desk act sometimes. The stuff they talk about is so random and insignificant. It's just like there's so much like filler time where we just gotta like sit for like 30 minutes, like 20 minutes, 15 minutes listening to these people like, rant about stuff that doesn't even make sense. So again, I'm not trying to pick on anybody. I'm just saying, I think that Valyn is a really good example and people should follow in his footsteps. Trippy has been blowing up lately. Um, he's scheduled every single day for the next 2 months and more for PC optimizations. Something that I want to touch on is how important that is to have your PC optimized, especially in a game like Valorant. Getting your latency down, getting your FPS up, all that other good stuff. I think it's really important. So if you are looking for a PC optimization, definitely check out Trippy. And if he can't get you until next year, still look for people who can. I get DMs all the time, people asking that they'll do a free PC optimization for me as long as I shout them out on Twitter, stuff like that. Those people are always looking for work and looking to get their name out there. But I just wanted to give a reminder to everybody that it's very important to have your PC optimized, and it's something that you should look to have done or find out how to do. Even if it's simple as a YouTube video, like a guide, like a do-it-yourself type thing. Next thing we're going to get into here is a Twitter user by the name of Ripley Lawless. This person has deactivated or deleted their Twitter. They said, imagine saying that because you won a round, it is okay to teabag someone's corpse in game. It's not. Unless there's express consent from everyone, including those who have to watch it, it's sexual harassment and it has to end. This has no place in esports, a take like this. Valorant is a fictional game where you control little creatures and you control little people that don't actually exist. I fear the outlook that this person has on the world, because saying something like this really scares me on what happens when they actually have to function in real life. And I am kind of ripping on them. But at the end of the day, this is so crazy to say to me. I just can't believe that someone said this. Again, you can watch any sport, American football, regular football. you know, whether it's professional level, college level, it's emotion. It's a person. They're going to express how they feel. They're going to showboat and they're going to talk and they're going to bark and they're going to get in their head. There is a serious psychological war when it goes on when you are a professional and you are competing. It's part of the game. It is simply part of the game. And I think that tweeting stuff like this not only is bad for the game, but it also makes people view the game like wrong. Because there's a lot of takes like this that are like a little less insane. So like taking the ranks away for Valorant because you get picked on if you're a lower rank. You know what I mean? Having streamer mode available for everybody. It's like that type of like casualness. I just don't think is good for the game, and I wish it would stop. But yeah, I just wanted to touch base on this and kind of show you guys like what's been going on. This is blown completely out of proportion. All the article people and the interview people are picking this up and like talking about it. And this person had to like deactivate their Twitter. I'm sure people said some horrible stuff to them. But again, there's just no place to say something like this. I'm hitting control. I'm literally crouching. Like, if you're that like messed up and demented to where you think that is sexual assault, like you seriously need to be like consulted by a therapist because you're not in a good spot. Another ranked shit talker we have here. Um, I'm cool with Nightmare. We don't have any problem or anything like that. We never did. The TLDR behind this is I was playing a game on Breeze. Um, I was losing. This person and the rest of his team in ranked were typing to me and saying stuff to me. He then goes in the VOD and he clips every single instance of me saying that he made a bad play or he's dumb or whatever the case is. And he was in streamer mode, so I couldn't see his name. It just said KO. It didn't actually say Nightmare. So he starts like posting them to Twitter and stuff like that, like subtweeting me. Um, I a little irrationally went out of my way and I called him rat shit. Um, and then he started making fun of me, saying I'm like a tier 5 player or something. And again, I saw that he had 17-year-old in his bio. He changed it to 19-year-old. But I wanted to send him a message. This is the message here. It doesn't really, you don't really need to read it. It basically just says like, um, you know, you're young. This was just a ranked game. It wasn't anything personal. I do this all the time. If you don't believe me, you can ask or you can, go in any of the other VODs. I do it to everybody. It doesn't matter if you're Ye or Joe Biden. Like if you make a dumb play that pisses me off, I'm gonna make fun of you. And again, it's not like I type it to them and I say like you're an idiot. I just say it to my chat for like a comedic effect and just to vent because I just get tilted. Um, and then he posted the screenshot of me messaging him, making fun of me even more. And again, this is just a situation where you do want to avoid this type of stuff. It's just better to not burn any bridges. I am living proof of that. I have had teammates who are boisterous and they are very opinion driven and stubborn, and they have burned some bridges. Some of you guys may know the name of Pietrovos, former teammate of mine. I have also been one of those people early on. I was ignorant, I was arrogant, and again, everyone learns, and that's what I'm trying to do from this. It's not about Nightmare. Again, I'm cool with Nightmare. He's a regular guy, but I'm just trying to use this as a learning experience to teach everybody who's watching today that you don't have to go out of your way to do this. You don't have to take stuff to Twitter. Okay, it's just ranked. Now, if somebody's throwing or saying bad words or doing something horrible, absolutely you have the right to take it to Twitter. But again, this was just a rank game. I couldn't see his name. He could see mine, but I couldn't see his name, and we're just past it now. Um, and again, I think that the community has a general like understanding of this. So there were a lot of people who kind of like, not necessarily had my back, but they were trying to, like explain what I was trying to say. Um, which was, it's not a big deal. Let's just get past it and move on. Um, and again, I know that he's young and he's like, wants impressions and all that other shit. But again, just something I wanted to show you guys. With that, that is all I have. Again, short week. I honestly I missed out on a couple things. We didn't cover game changers, which is going on right now. There's a couple roster moves that have been happening, a couple trials. I think there's a tweet or two that I missed. Kind of sloppy on my end, my bad. But I wanted to get a video out regardless. So again, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for the continued support. I got some big news coming up soon. Make sure you stay posted on that. Whether you're with me on Twitch or here on YouTube, Twitter, whatever, it's all linked down below. Thank you for watching. Tdawgg out. Deuces.